Hey guys, it's a new day. Got a lot of work done on pulling this motor out yesterday, or getting ready to pull it out. And I wasn't gonna film anything until I actually got it out and you guys could see the full extent of things. But as per usual, everything that we start to do on this, you just find just more and more crap. So I kind of wanted to bring you in here and kind of see what I'm dealing with. You can kind of see, obviously I've got the whole front end off. I got it sitting over here on the floor. So this core support, he's kind of cut and banged all up in order to make that fit with the intercooler, I guess. So that is shot, not usable. It's the M50 intake. That'll probably go up for sale soon. The bumper support, charge air cooler, rads all over here. This overflow tank, looks like he kind of broke the bracket off it or something. And it was just kind of hanging by the hose, so it wasn't secured by anything. There's supposed to be a shroud that this sits on against the radiator. That wasn't there. Initially, I thought that, you know, possibly the person that he got the engine from was running. Like I said before, this apparently the original engine popped, and likely because this guy's not running any kind of a tune. And then he put this engine in and was leaking water. So you can see here what I found the other day. There's a crack in the head. Initially I thought, you know, maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. He put the motor in and then found out that, you know, it was leaking oil or leaking water out of it, and couldn't figure out where it was actually leaking from. But I drained the entire cooling system, and it's just pure water. Now there's a little bit of crap in there from you know, me doing up some other things and just stuff falling as I'm working on it, but just pure water. So he was the idiot that was running pure water in this thing. And it popped, whether it was while he was using it or over last winter. Like I think I mentioned before, it got down about 9 degrees in December when the blizzard came down from the north. So it could have popped then, you know, who knows? It's really hard to say, but so kind of get you guys in here. You know, that's his fantastic solution for an oil pressure gauge. There is the right fitting, it looks like, on the van house, where the feed line is supposed to bolt or just screw on. But he's got this hodgepodge thing that, you know, if you barely touch it, it moves and starts leaking. So that's great. I don't know if you can see down here or not, but get you on there. That's the engine mount. Not only is it trashed, but there's no bolt. So this side wasn't even bolted in. I'm seeing various hardware down there that's laying around. There's some brass stuff sitting on the cross member. Who knows what that stuff is. Here you can see the inner apron is kind of cut and hacked up. Then he also made a clearance hole for the wastegate as well. Here's some more of that, I don't know if you want to call it a bulkhead or whatever, going into the drug storage bin. That's all cut and hacked up. And then the inner fender as well for a side exit. So again, this car, it's never seen the road again. It would just take way too much to make this right. Like I said, a whole new car. I mean, could it be fixed? Sure. I mean, the shell is a lot better than some of the stuff you guys up north are running, but I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's the passenger side engine mount, and I don't think that nut is torqued down to spec. I mean, there's dull thread showing it all, and a random piece of hardware next to it. So again, more fantastic work by this hack of a guy. And here's a little picture of some of the melted wiring. But sure guys, I could rebuild it. I could put it back. It costs way more than what this project is worth. So down here, here's the transmission mount, cross member for the transmission. Both bushings were totally sheared. Then I just got an absolute hodgepodge of hardware. Most of it, the heads were too small and were actually poking through the slotted section. So that really wasn't holding anything either. When I took out the drive shaft, this is the front cross member for the diff. Only the 2 outer bolts going to the subframe mounts were actually bolted. The other 4 inner bolts totally missing. So now, again, more quality work from this hack. I think that's about it for an update. I've got it pretty much set. It just has, well, I guess just 1 bolt holding in the motor at this point. It's on the floor jack, just kind of holding it. I got to get it down on the ground, roll it out into the driveway a little bit in order to have room to operate the engine hoist and yank this thing out. And here you can kind of see where he grafted in something to the timing cover for the drain on the turbo. I'm not sure if that's where top mount guys usually go. Oh look, more hardware just kind of chilling. Oh wait, no, that is part of the AC, never mind. But look, everywhere I look, there's more and more surprises. I did not take that sway bar mount out. It's totally gone. Again, not the end of the world, but why? Why is it not there? You can see I've dropped the steering rack down. This gives you a little bit more clearance of the oil pan when you pull the engine out. It's just the 2 bolts that hold it onto that cross member. And then you don't even need to disconnect the steering shaft. I still have that all connected. There's enough telescoping room in that to just have it hang down and get out of the way. So plan from here, I guess. I'm gonna get this thing down on the ground, take out that last engine mount bolt, hook up some straps, yank this beast out. I'm gonna pull it with the transmission out all in one. And we'll get it outside, give you another quick little walk around. We're gonna power wash it. There might be some things still in here in the engine bay that I want to pull out, and I don't like working with grease and getting gross. The steering rack is one of the gold label, gold tag. A lot of people refer to it as a ZHP rack. There's actually no such thing as a ZHP rack. There is one rack that came in ZHPs, but they're also found on a lot of 330s. This 330 CI is one of them. My 330 CI that I use for autocross also has the gold tag rack. So we'll probably end up selling that too. Here you can see just some random more bits just chilling down here. This guy's just absolute hack. Control arms look like, at least the lollipops say Mile HD on them. So someone at some point bought something sort of quality. My preference is still OEM. On my 330, I'm actually running ZHP arms. The geometry is all the same, but they have a full metal ball joint, and they just tend to hold up a little better than the stock sport suspension or standard suspension arms. So we'll get unbolting here, and I'll bring you guys back in when this thing's out, probably after I power wash it, and we'll go from there. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, well, the engine trans are out. Got it rolled outside and power washed everything. It actually came out pretty good. Just soaked it down with some oven off or oven cleaner and let it sit for a while and spray it off, and it actually cleaned up really nice. Not that it really matters. Nothing's ever going back in this car, but just as I pull other things off, I don't want to have to deal with grease and gross. So just kind of want to show you, it came out pretty decent. So here you can see more of that inner structure that he chopped out for clearance for the wastegate. Just insane. And down here, this is chopped up and bashed a little bit. Had he clocked the turbo a little differently, probably wouldn't have had to at least do this area here. That wastegate, obviously, it's just the wrong setup. I think you just use a basic bottom mount manifold and flipped it upside down for a top mount. But it's all out, ready to go, so I can continue stripping this thing down for parts. You can see, so I mentioned that this nut on this engine mount looked like it wasn't even torqued down all the way. It was finger tight. I just spun it off with my hand. The mount itself actually doesn't feel too bad. I don't know how old it is. There's really not much cracking in it, so that one might be good, but this is one of them 2-piece motor mounts. What kind of oil do you guys like to refill your mounts with? 10 weight, 30 weight, synthetic? Obviously I'm joking, that thing's totally shot. It's a slave down there. I just wanted to pull the heat shields back so I can get in there behind it and clean the grease and gunk out. Go in and I'll show you got the trans off. It's the ZF5 speed. Detents didn't feel too bad, but probably gonna need to do at least the reverse and fifth. Just normal road grime. It shifted fine when I drove it down the street. Looks like probably just a stock clutch on this. It's pretty dry in the back. It's like I'm going to use a ton of RTV on this valve cover, so it's not surprising that it's not leaking. Let me grab my light here real quick. I got to get some more lights in my garage. That'll be a project next week or two maybe. So, someone pointed out they think these are 22 shell casings and the vacuum ports. It could be. I think I actually saw a write-up where someone said they fit perfectly. But it doesn't matter because, like I said, the head is cracked right there. So you come down here. You see that it is a B30. The 30 means B30. Typical grime on this side, probably from the oil filter housing gasket or this contraption. I just got it kind of zip tied up with a glove so it's not pouring oil out everywhere. I'm going to pressure wash the motor itself. The front side's pretty grimy and gross as well. Not sure if that's probably an old valve cover leak. You can kind of see all the RTV that he used. I mean, it's way too much. You just need a little dab in the corners, that's it. And he's got some sort of goop inside the thermostat housing. When I pulled the transmission off, so the top 2 bell housing bolts weren't even in. The threads look fine. I'm guessing he just couldn't reach them and couldn't figure out. He just dropped the transmission down a little bit off the member and get clearance. These long bolts with the nuts, double nuts, that's what was holding the starter in. Thought at first that maybe it's because some M54 configurations, the starter threads to the bell housing, some thread to the starter, but that's not the case. It's they do actually thread into the starter on this one. You just didn't have the right bolts. Just again, idiot. Can't really see the oil pan, but that's, I think, a 5 series oil pan, not a 3 series. It fits. It's really tight to get it out of the chassis. Even when lowering that steering rack, it was still tough to get it up and over. I really had to rotate the engine to get it to clear. And I think I remember the skid plate underneath was actually touching on that. So let's see, show you the turbo side. Well, I'm sure this is just all eBay garbage, but you know, got a lot of people asking me for it. A lot of people do run eBay stuff. See, I think that's just top mount manifold that they flipped. I'll probably unbolt that later on after I get it pressure washed. This side's still pretty nice and clean. I even did remember to undo the negative or the ground strap here. The only thing that I forgot to disconnect as I pulled it was the stupid oil feed off this thing going to the gauge. I got it partially pulled out and it's like, why is it not coming? And sure enough, that's all it was. Oh, this oxygen sensor, wasn't even connected. It's not the right terminal for this car, so I don't know if he was trying to run a wideband in it. So this thing had no oxygen sensors actually hooked up. I'm really kind of shocked that it ran. It just must have been running a really fat, safe DME program, so, which is good since you didn't have a tune. Rich is safe. I just want to give you a quick little update. I'm going to get this thing outside, pressure wash it, clean it off, and I'll catch you back a little later. Hey guys, I just want to do a quick outro here. Got everything cleaned up, packed up for the day. He's just getting to me, so just want to show you real quick. Came out pretty nice and clean. Not having to dig through grease always makes things so much more pleasurable to kind of work with. So engine came out pretty decent. There's still some crap in the nooks and crannies, but not a big deal. Not really sure. Seeing a lot of oil up in this corner. Kind of hard to see. Hopefully there's not a crack in the block or some shit up there. But so it came out pretty clean. I still gotta finish stripping it down. I'm gonna take the accessories off, take the turbo kit off. This side came out pretty good too. A lot of staining in the aluminum from the exhaust. You just use those crappy perforated gaskets that came with the manifold, and as you can see, they leak pretty bad. So I don't know, it doesn't matter. It's just some staining. It's not a big deal. But other than that, everything came out pretty easy. It was nice working on something that's been in the South all its life. Bolts actually come out. I'm actually from Buffalo, New York, and you know, everything is a process trying to get things unbolted when you work on stuff up there. So my 330 Ci is actually from Buffalo area as well, but it's pretty clean underneath. Some hardware still is pretty tight and stuck, but for the most part, it's been a pretty good car to work on. So I guess that's about it. Until the next one, we'll start stripping some more stuff down. I just got in a new smoke tester machine. So I'm gonna probably do a video comparing that versus my homemade one. You can make one for about 15 bucks. If you want to buy one, they run anywhere from 80 to about 200 bucks. So maybe I'll do a video on that next. Maybe there'll be some work done on this. There's not a whole lot left to do on this car. I've got pretty much every nut and bolt taken off and replaced or upgraded. So there's not a lot to do. I do want to put some adjustable camber mounts up front. Since I do run this in autocross, I'd like to get a little bit more camber. So maybe we'll do a video on that. Then I gotta finish parting this thing out, and then I can start looking for the next project. So hopefully one that we can revive. I've done 2 E46s this year already, 2 other ones, 2 325i's. I bought for 500 bucks each, non-running. Got them both running and sold off. Should have done some videos on that, but I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do yet. So I had a lot of people ask to see more about this turbo turd, so this is kind of where we're starting. But I'll be on the lookout for the next project. I got my eyes on a couple things, but I got to clear this out of here first. Can't have too many vehicles in the driveway. I don't want to get in trouble. So anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for watching. If you can, please like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Appreciate it, and thanks for watching.